Hey everyone, welcome back to the North American Challenger Series in Game 2 between Team Dragon Knights and Ember. Right now we talk about Ember here. They won the first game. It was definitely a close match, so this series, I should say, could definitely go either way. But a player to talk about on Ember was their top laner Solo. He got the Nautilus. I know you were a huge fan of not giving that away to the red team, but he actually did very well for himself. 1-0-12. There were only 14 kills in the game for his team, 0 deaths, nearly 100% KP. Really solid game by him.
Yeah, I definitely think Nautilus is pretty much first pick worthy, or you have to ban it red side. I think that basically Ember got away with murder there, where they got to be red side and pick Nautilus themselves and then get to be able to pick whatever they wanted mid into the whole composition of the blue team. So I don't think they're going to be able to get away with that again, or at least I hope they don't, because that's going to put the game in one of those more competitive regions. Because right now, we saw that game be back and forth, but it's really, you're sitting there going, well, they're never killing this Nautilus.
Yeah.
So you basically have to kill everybody and be able to ignore the Nautilus and just continue to power down the base and then win the game with the Nautilus still just standing there. You're not going to be able to get through him.
No, he got to stand there the entire game long. So it was pretty difficult for TDK to deal with that one. We'll see if that changes at all in the pick and ban phase. Of course, again, to reiterate, TDK will be blue side every single game here. They always have the chance to first pick. They want a blue side. That was their choice for games 2 and 4. Ember had their choice of games for 1, 3, and 5. They chose red for all those. So we keep the sides the same way as we get ourselves in a champion select. And we'll see if Nautilus ends up being that first pick, if that ends up being a ban by Team Dragon Knights. Kog'Maw, though, still off the table. Nidalee still banned away from Kez, and we'll see if anything else changes. But so far, these bans are the exact same as they were before.
If they just stick with exactly the same thing as last game, then that would be ridiculous. But, of course, both teams felt like they did okay.
Right, like that game was close.
It was close.
It's a really interesting fallacy. I don't know if it's a fallacy, I think it is, though, that players get into, is they'll lose a game. And they'll say, we would have won that game if we just played something differently. Like, that was a gameplay issue. Champ select was totally fine. And you'll be in a series where, like, the enemy jungler picks, like, Maokai jungle all 5 games. And you're like, but this was obviously his best jungler.
Yeah, I think it's a waste.
How did you not change any of this?
I think it's a waste. I just think it's a... When you pick the same thing over and over again, and you go, or go from game 1 to game 2 in a series,
right?
And you're just like, oh, okay, it was just play. It was just play. If you lose that game again, then you haven't even experimented for that game 3.
Right.
And you haven't even thrown them off their game at all.
Yeah, I think it's honestly a major issue with the fact. I totally agree. And look, this champ set's going the exact same way here. There's the Poppy first pick on the blue side there for TDK. Oh, look, it's the same champions for Ember here. I think Braum and Kindred were the early picks as well. So
yes, they were.
Yeah, Nautilus just kind of being left on the table as long as they really want it here. And yeah, it's just weird because also to keep the same champ select means you thought you couldn't improve upon the champ select. Like, not even that, like, it wasn't a bad one, but, like, you literally can't do better. No. After seeing it play out, Poppy and Nautilus is the best possible top lane matchup we could get.
Why can't you play Nautilus and then have Solo pick something into it?
Of course, right? But like that. But that's the mindset, right? Is that if TDK aren't changing anything, it's like, yep, this is the best possible situation we ever could have been in. Yeah. Let's keep it the same.
Anyway, I don't want to tunnel on draft this entire game. I already gave a whole.
I know we gave a lot of time, but honestly, I think it's a relevant topic.
Yeah,
we are in pick and ban.
It is a relevant topic for now. I just don't want to prefacing the whole game.
We'll get out once we hit the game. We're gonna stop talking about pick and ban so much.
Oh man, it did.
Gragas did coming for Kez though, so the Elise got dropped. He went for Gragas now instead, and also OQ went for an earlier pick on the Ezreal. So those are the 2 big changes. Yep. Before it was Elise Janna, I believe. Now it's Gragas Ezreal. So a bit of a new look here for TDK.
But I like that. I love that Gragas pick because last time they locked in that Kindred so early for Santorin, I was sitting here going, well, Gragas is a great counter pick. Gragas, Janna, Tristana, like who's not really meta, and then you can also play like Lee Sin into it and kick him out. But I think Gragas is the best one because you just throw everybody else out of the ultimate and then your team gets into it and you're like, your ulti? My ulti.
Yeah.
It's so good. And I was really surprised by the Elise pick, but Kez was trying to go for comfort in that first game. I like seeing this as a counter to try and throw them off their game.
Yeah, lots of knockouts back. The last time they tried the counter as Janna, this time the counter as Gragas. There's ways of getting people out of the Kindred ultimates that you can use it and they can't. Ember, no surprise here. They get that Nautilus, of course, in the top lane here for, we assume, Solo. Not really going to go anywhere else here. Laud, with Ezreal taken away, will go for Lucian in the matchup. Still a comfortable champion for him, and it sends back over to TDK.
Let's see what goes on here. These last few picks here, but the Lucian Braum, fantastic combination. Able to pin people down very quickly, and then since you have double AD carry alongside the Braum, it's going to be very powerful.
Yeah.
And this just Nautilus is a frontliner by himself. He has so much peel in his kit and so much durability that he's basically 2 tanks.
Yep. Well, those tanks are going to cut down to 1.5 tanks because support Trundle just got picked up here for Team Dragon
right.
Knights. Could be a flex, of course. Trundle and Poppy play both those roles pretty comfortably, as do they in the jungle. But we kind of expect to see Poppy top lane, Trundle support here, which, again, will allow him to cut through Nautilus and Braum pretty significantly. And, you know, that's kind of the new test here is TDK. Now can they just cut through him with all the tools they have? DPS still low. Blue Ezreal, not the highest damage champion.
Yep, no crit coming out there. He is high in terms of poke, so when you look at damage charts...
his damage chart is high,
exactly.
but his DPS in the team fight is not the same.
Exactly. I do think that this Trundle is a really good pick into the Nautilus, and if you're able to actually outplay it, you can just throw up pillars every time he's going to hook somebody in. And you can actually stop that person from getting hooked towards him if you block their movement with your pillar. So it is a good counter to Nautilus in the support role, because if you throw it top, then... Yeah.
Your team gets ulted, you pillar them back,
Yeah.
you get queued, you can pillar them to separate all the guys, you
Love
steal
it.
the stats. Yeah, I definitely do like what Trundle does in a Nautilus. Meanwhile, last pick comes through, and guess what? Ember keeping the comp roughly the same. There were, what, 2 champions different?
Yeah.
Ezreal's gone, so Lucian. Screw Karma, let's play some Zillion. So Zillion mid in for Gold Blue, his second support mid this series, every single game so far. Supporty one. And by the way, a fast-running Nautilus is scary.
Yes. Oh, and also if Laud gets ahead, he's able to just basically do what we see SKT do when they empower Bang with FLICKR. They're just like, Lulu Lucian, go crazy.
Yep.
I love that. I think that this is also really frustrating to play against because the Nautilus is going to be kiting people. You're going to be having the Kindred ultimate, and then you're going to have the Zillion ultimate on top of that. Like, I would be very surprised if Ember make it to late game and then they actually, and it's even, and then they actually lose somebody at that point past the 35-minute mark in a team fight.
Something that's really good as well. Zillion is good against ultimate-based team comps because the ult gets blown, the guy revives, then you fight with your second wave of cooldowns, which don't involve ulti. So you can like wait out Trundle ulti, survive the Lissandra burst. There could be some good things for Ember here. We'll see if it works out for them. You guys at home, of course, are always part of the show. Tweet at LOL Esports with hashtag TDK win or hashtag MBR win to let us know which team you think is going to win this game. Ember, of course, won a very close game 1 here. TDK have grabbed a Trundle support to break through that Nautilus from solo, which could totally work for these guys. We'll see what happens here in game 2. Best of 5. Winner goes to the promotion tournament.
And promotion tournament is huge. Of course, you do want that first place, so the finals isn't something you guys want to miss out on if you are supporting your team. First place, skip that first round. Second place, well, you have to fight to even get pretty much into the bracket. No double limb.
I just want to point something out for people. Trance starts every single game he plays with the phrase, "Are you ready for trance?"
And he doesn't even spell R and U.
It's the letter RU. So basically he's saying Russia ready for trance.
That's
what Alex Hitch replied, by the way.
What did he say?
He said, "Hi, I'm Rudy, jungle only."
30 seconds to minion spawn.
The trance thing, though, it doesn't tilt me that he says it every game. It's that he just puts the R and the U instead of...
I mean, it's the internet. You don't have to capitalize and use punctuation.
But the thing is, he didn't actually type out R or U, but he types out 4.
Rude. Oh, I see, yeah.
He types out FOR instead of putting a 4. And instead of ARE and YOU, he just puts RU.
He used the number 4
I'd rather he goes all in or he just doesn't do it at all. You can't swap on me.
Just for that, for next week, I'm going to type to you in leet. Like in emails and stuff.
Half leet, half not.
Yeah, there you go, half leet.
That's the worst. I'm not going to be able to understand anything.
I'm 1 EE7.
Actually, it won't be too different from your normal emails.
There you go.
They're pretty cohesive.
They're pretty hacker-esque. What do you think I got the name Freak, dog?
Oh my god. Was it?
It's with a PH.
Was it PH34K?
You didn't even spell it right, but yes, I've actually had that as my screen name before. I had an @ sign for the A.
Yeah, they are.
PHR3@K was my screen name at some point. Because the name Freak was taken.
Yeah.
I would have gone for it regularly.
So I started it, and then I just really wanted to get to the 3 and 4 really quickly, so I skipped over the R.
Yeah, good job.
Feek.
Something like that. Of course, we are in a game of League of Legends here, and this has been a much less contested game. We're in a lane swap where both teams started their junglers near their own duo lane, so this should be a reasonably uncontested jungle start. We did see Laud and Stunt take away pieces of the red buff, but otherwise, just walking the lane, no big problem here.
Flares gets to this top lane really quickly, and that's what I've been noticing is Flares actually groups up with TDK so fast to 3-man push these turrets, whereas Solo hangs around the jungle a little bit longer for Santorin, and then takes off.
It's 2 camps run in there right as fast as possible, and it just seems like they clear it a little bit faster because it's not like Solo played that any differently. That was 2 camps and go down as well. It just didn't clear as quickly, from what I saw at least. Santorin has a blue buff. He's running down to the bottom side of the map now. Will not be going for Scuttle. Sadly for him, the Mark of the Kindred is on the top side Scuttle, where he is not. We should have an easy take on both of these outer turrets. No big problem here.
Actually unlucky.
Yeah, actually unlucky.
Because normally in a lane swap as Kindred, you're almost guaranteed to get some, well, at least 1 stack, unless it's that Scuttle. Like, legitimately, just that Scuttle
Roughly the only thing that it can.
is usually what's live.
And that Gromp on the left side.
Yeah, they left that. Usually you'll clear that. Usually you full clear a side of your jungle.
So this is cool. Okay. 6.4.
Yep.
All good NA AD carries that I know go Warlord's Bloodlust. Europeans don't yet. I've been profiling Reckless, and he hasn't been using that mastery yet. He's still using Fervor on champions like Lucian. But Sneak has been using it nearly exclusively. And most high-level AD carries in NAIC are going Warlord's Bloodlust now at 6.4. It's just so good. You don't have to buy Lifesteal anymore. It's actually an insane amount of healing. Yes, Fervor is very good. Honestly, Fervor is a lot of damage, and if you're playing Vayne or Kindred, you probably actually still use that.
I actually use it on Ezreal still, just because the Q applies it as well. So you can auto Q and then you get double value from it. You just do it very quickly.
See, I actually would almost rather see Thunderlords in it.
Yeah, Thunderlords for the laning phase when you're able to just auto E and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just W through the
And
stuff.
the dual pen is just worth a lot when you have like 40% magic damage on him.
Yeah, I think they're all good.
Yeah, but yeah.
Deathfire Touch for Jhin though. Don't go wrong.
Yeah.
Don't go wrong there.
To be fair, like Marksmen are roughly playing almost every single keystone in the game now. I say almost every. It's not like they're using Bond of Stone, but
well, speaking of Bond of Stone, that's what Stunt went with, whereas Trance actually went for Strength of Ages. So
Stunt did Strength of Ages last game actually.
Yeah, and he swapped to Bond.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of supports I'm seeing go with the Strength of Ages just because it's such high value.
Yep, you get a lot of health out of it.
Nobody complains about having too much HP.
Yep, 300 HP is a really big deal.
And as a support, it actually makes you a big tank. And as Braum, I really like it.
Sure.
You don't need more damage reduction.
You can actually get a Frozen Heart in your build and not feel bad about it, basically.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah, it's a huge deal.
And having the Strength of Ages on Braum, you don't really need Bond of Stone because you can already take damage from people with your E.
Yep.
Of course, the game's been going on. Rift Herald.
Yes. So Adam Turret's taken down by both sides. Ember got Dragon to TDK's Rift Herald. No huge surprises here. What's interesting is actually the lane swaps. Round 2 is both dual lanes on the bottom side of the map here. Alex is going to take a double bomb. Nice slow by Golden Blue, and that will be an advantageous trade for the Zillion, as Alex also coyly denies 2 CS, but getting all those casters really low, and then they get auto-attacked. Still a small lead for Golden Glue by Ember. Keza looking for a gank to have.
They have to get him soon, because he just turned 6.
Level 6 for Golden Glue. Alex is not 6 yet. Gragas actually, I believe, leached some of that, and that meant Alex was not 6 as soon as he could have been. There he has the ulti, but he realizes, yep, they're mid laner leveled first, no gank to be had, out we go.
Yep, and here goes Santorin securing himself Scuttle Crab on the top side. Alex, though, he's just getting whittled away at.
By the way, please note the mechanics of the Zillion mid. Offensive E into QWQ.
Yes.
That's the combo. Don't haste yourself in. They've got to be in range to get hit in the first place.
Oh.
And look at that anchor in onto Kaz. Has to flash away. Level 5. Body slams out. Raptor buff popped by a trinket ward. Koi choice right there. And out he goes. Ember this time only up a small 100 gold here. Basically equivalent here between these two teams. A much better early game by TDK. Alex Itch, though, losing his mid lane pretty hard now.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse for a good while here. Golden Glue, he doesn't have to go into a build that... I'll talk about it in a second.
Flares is very far up. Kez has no mana, and in comes Santorin to make this thing a fight. Flares losing a lot of HP right now. Will flash the wall. Both chests. Yeah, easy kill right there. First blood, nicely done. Beautiful play here by Ember. Get that kill off an overextended Flares.
Yeah, and that's the thing is he's going past the midpoint of your lane.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that
No
you really
wards.
want that CS, but I seriously think TDK, like bouncing turrets and then figuring out what to do with your top laner afterwards, it's not solo queue. You can't keep shoving up. They will punish you. And it happens there. He shoves up, easily punished. Because they don't lose anything in return for it. It was just an overextension.
Beautiful stuff right there. So now an 1,100 gold lead for Ember's. Got to feel real good as they knock down the top lane wave and push it right into the turret. Flares will not teleport to catch that, so he will lose most of that wave and get no golden experience for it as he walks in. Thankfully for him, there was a cannon, so it tanked a whole lot of turret shots, but still. A cannon, a melee, and 4 casts is all that was left for him from what was 2 minion waves. All right, Alex gets the blue buff. He's got to feel okay about this one, holding close to equal in farm. And while it was Abyssal Scepter last game, both these players now going Rod of Ages here in this matchup.
Yeah, Rod of Ages for the HP for Alex Siege. Make sure that he can actually take a little bit more of those bombs. But of course, I wouldn't. I
think we might still see.
I think we're still going to see it. Yeah, I wouldn't count it out. Golden though, interested to see what he ends up going for second. We've seen some Zillions like CDR items. We've seen some of them just be like, no, let's go tier and go for the old build.
Yeah, he could even go further greedier and do Roa into Seraphs. I mean, that's...
We've seen it before.
Something to watch for. TDK still trying to play aggressively in this top side of the map. Alex definitely got to roam first. Golden Blue will just simply shove mid, and Santorin will just give away this side of the map right now.
Yeah, he's going to get that other side, though. And now...
Can he?
Watch Trance and OQ, and if they're able to actually collapse on this, because flares are coming across the mid lane, they could get caught out here if Santorin decides he actually still wants to get this red buff.
Yeah, the dual lane is far away.
Oh.
Solo does have teleport. They will kill away the pink ward. And where's everyone else going? Pillar of Ice used to buy a bit of time, but Santorin should get the easy smite. And yes, Ember are able to trade red buffs away. Good by them just to roam the correct people down. No contest there by TDK, really. Okay. All right, invade nullified.
Okay, so Flares was crossing the mid lane, and what I thought he was going to do was collapse and just come around the members of Ember, but they decided to go for a Rift Herald here. A little bit risky. Members of Ember are on this side of the map, but they back off.
Which would you rather have, Rift Herald or red buff? This or Lian?
Rift Herald.
Rift Herald? So honestly, good choice then by TDK. They say, yeah, we got the red buff steal. You go for ours, but now you're too far away to stop Rift Herald, so advantage TDK, good choice.
Yep. Just barely, though. And it's so strange because every time a Rift Herald is taken, you're just like, oh, it's 50 global gold. But then you actually sit there and you go, well, we actually didn't gain any gold because we missed about that much from doing Rift Herald.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Most of the time, if you just like, come here and do it, they'll lose pretty close to that. And you'll watch in terms of like jungle uptime as well. It's so weird.
Well, we'll see what TDK can do with that buff, though, if it increases their jungle clear speed, anything like that. Right now, still a 1,000 gold lead for Ember, thanks to, once again, a great first blood and some farm leads, mostly in the AD carry and top lane positions here.
Yeah, Laud has the cull as well. He got it after his back in the lane swap, whereas OQ did not go for the cull here, so that'll eventually be even bigger delta between the two AD carries.
I gotta say, props to, right now, Laud and Stunt for winning their 2-on-2. Basically heads up here. OQ and Trance falling slowly behind. OQ, who is the best laner in the North American Challenger Series. They replaced the support, which we assume was intended to be an upgrade, and OQ is no longer winning his laning phase. Full-time support player or not on his side.
Yeah, of course, there is a synergy and a language barrier.
Of course.
So communication is really big. I would take somebody I can communicate with pretty much any day of the week. See here, though. Collapse on the bottom side by Stunt and Laud. Kez going in.
Ooh, big knockup on Santorin. Does have the ulti. When will he pop it? He's going to pop it just in time to stay alive, but, of course, the re-engage could happen. A knockback by Poppy. A lot of help coming through. Zillion ulti on him as well, but Santorin never even goes down. It's just a simple 1-for-0 as Flares gets taken out. An anchor onto OQ. Ezreal is going to be knocked up as well by Braum, and oh no! Alex Sitch betrayed by OQ. 2 kills for Ember. What a start.
Using the barrel so early from Kez to displace Santorin made it so that they had nothing for the Lamb's respite. That was a big part of that fight. And now Ember able to collapse to get their second dragon of the game and get more turret pushing power.
And 12 minutes in, Ember are already on 2 dragons. So whether they have engaged tools or late game or not, they're on pace for some really good dragon stacking here for themselves, putting together a very annoying multi-revive composition.
Yeah, flashes in. Instead of throwing out a slow and helping Trance, Santorin's able to just throw it down. A lot used here. Double bomb, right?
Actually hit different targets.
It hit different ones. Oh. thought it was double bomb. And Santorin even gets the ultimate on him, but it doesn't have to go off there from the Zillion.
A lot a bit too far forward in the face of an Ezreal. OQ will kill him. Plenty of health from Warlord's Bloodless, but of course not enough there. 20 lifesteal will not make you win 1v2. And down he goes. Nice pickups to TDK right on the back of that fight. Do get something for themselves as OQ continues to stack the Manamune.
I just thought about when I said the Corki with Grasp. When I heard somebody talking about it, it was probably actually just Warlords.
Probably.
It's got a. It looks like Grasp, except it's red.
Yeah.
Golden Blue running though.
Ooh, okay, good flash. Yeah, so for what it's worth, just so you guys know, Warlord's Bloodlust, the full lifesteal comes in at about 83% missing health. You roughly, when you're at 1/5, you get like 20. You get the full 20%. And when you're at that level, you have the red, like, heavy particle that kind of flows back onto you until you heal over that point. And so you'll notice Warlord's Bloodlust when you see that, like, that red double helix come into you with every auto attack. That's how you know that people have it if you don't check the scoreboard. And it's a lot of health.
I'm kind of sad that you didn't say, "Did you know?" before that.
Oh, really?
Because now your "Did you knows" they need to gain more credibility over time, Freak.
Okay, fine. Did you know?
Oh, what?
The wording on Warlord's Bloodlust is the same as Essence Reaver. If you're at half health, that is not half the lifesteal. It's increasingly more over time, so you're only getting about 8% lifesteal at half health.
I
And it
did
scales
not know
up
that.
quickly.
But
Oof, chunk onto Solo, knocked into the wall by Flares, but he's really durable. Teleport comes in from Golden Blue, which means re-engage onto Flares. Match teleport by Alex Zich. 3 versus 2 on this side of the map, and there is no outer turret to keep Ember alive. Alex wants in. Ulti pop, ulti traded. They've stunned up Solo. Guess what, though? There's a Zillion who is nearly out of mana, and he does not get the revive off. I don't even know if he could have. Either way, a knockback by Kez separates the two. Out of cast range regardless. Meanwhile, push in the mid lane by Santorin and Lod. Bit of damage done, but the wave's cleared.
yeah, a little bit of hesitation there to push this mid wave up. Ember get immediately on it afterwards, though, and then they're able to just get a little bit of damage, but not enough to make up for what just happened in that top lane. Good barrel by Kez to separate the Zillion. You can still see that ultimate Chrono Shift still available.
Yeah, and honestly, it was a misplay.
Santorin, whoa, 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 whoa.
Mana, whoa, yeah, Santorin, goodbye! Whoa, had no vision, collapsed upon, and suddenly we're back to a 3-3 game. TDK actually 3 picks in a row.
Yeah, what was that? Santorin was just dancing back and forth, and Flares was dancing back and forth too. It was just like, oh, you won't do it, you won't do it. And then the claw just comes over from behind. No vision to see that coming there. Santorin gets caught out. No time to react either.
Flares will be getting the Rift Herald buff for himself. Sorry, Kez, it's not yours. What's interesting is so many times I've like recalled next to a guy with Baron, and in my mind I time the 4 seconds, then I walk and cancel my own recall because mine's still 8. And I'd be like, wait, what did I? And then I just sort of facepalm and move on with my life. And recall like 12 seconds slower than I should have.
Yeah, I usually die at that point, and then I recall 50 seconds slower than
Well, TDK right now have pretty much perfect Rift Herald control, contrasted with Ember's perfect Dragon control, which I feel like is probably worth a little bit more for these guys. Second outer turret knockdown as well, the repeat sort of pressure by Golden Blue, Lod, and co. Now Solo and Trance kind of battling back and forth. 3-level advantage, doesn't quite land the anchor toss. The dredge line, I suppose, is officially called.
Anchor toss, just toss it out there. Of course, Flares pushing down the bottom lane. Solo does have TP. It hasn't been answered just yet, so Flares is going to have some alone time with this Rift Herald buff on this bottom turret. And that might be evening back up the turrets here, depending on how quickly Lod and Stunt can run towards this lane. There's a lot of minions here.
There are a lot of minions. You got to keep in mind that this is going to be a lot of damage coming out. And Uncontested Rift Herald minion wave does a lot of damage, to be honest. Normally, people don't think about it that much for its pushing power because you can kill those minions off, but look at the damage output. Flares has built full tank, and he's going to kill this turret by himself with a double wave. Rift Herald used quite well by TDK. That turret, even if it doesn't go down, will be going down at some point this game, almost for sure, because of the work that Flares did with the Herald buff. But he is not itemized well to deal with Lucian.
No.
Here was his first item. No armor afforded him here. Now going towards that with his next purchase, but you don't want him to fight Lucian. He needs to be against Nautilus.
Yeah, it's always so strange when somebody goes straight for the completed version of a Spectre's Cowl item, because Spectre's Cowl by itself is just so good.
It is.
And then just upgrading it to the next one is...
Well, he wants the CDR, right?
Yeah.
And at that point when you got Kindle Gem, it's like, 500 gold for like 30 MR and 100 HP or something. Like, it's really efficient once you go from that point. And
well, nobody doesn't want CDR,
of course.
But I think that being able to go towards your armor build a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we certainly don't see Visage first very often, so it leaves him weak to tank to the double marksman team right now, and that will be something to keep in mind until he completes his next major item. Ember pushing forward in the mid lane. There was no outer turret to kill for them on that side of the map. And yeah, OQ solo pushing the bot lane here. All of Ember running down to this side of the map. That is all 5 members collapsing around the dragon because it spawns in 6 seconds. And again, Ember have been stacking them very quickly early on in the game. 18 minutes, Dragon 3 is up. They're already there on time.
And FLICKR is still top lane. They'll get a TP out of him at
He's
minimum
flanking
here. And here he comes. See what he can do. If he can get a good ulti.
Right side. Slowed down a bit by stunt. We zoom out and we see all 10 players on the screen right here as OQ did manage to get around and rejoin his team on the left-hand side. FLICKR's still in the wings. Some decent board coverage on both sides. Ember is spotted, but so are the members of TDK. 1,400 health left. Sun pops the shield. Go in. The smite comes through. Picked up by Santorin. Knocked out. No.
Oh.
Ram's rest, but is pop. He'll stay alive for now. The tackle in from FLICKR. Looking for the back line. Nearly picks off Lod. Barely stays alive, but that's 2 kills for TDK. That's going to be a 3rd before too long as Golden Glue gets killed right after the ulti times out. A double kill for support Trundle. Santorin running for his life. Only 2 members alive for Ember. That will shortly be 1. As Santorin has nowhere to go. Beautiful pillar by Trance. He deserves this one and gets the kill over to OQ. What a team fight by TDK.
And FLICKR's actually tried to predict the flash from the remaining members there, and flashes over the wall and Qs nothing. Nobody follows. So
funny.
A little bit of a overeager prediction instead of a reaction, but he just really didn't want them to get away.
That's what was a sad life play.
Yeah. But TDK, of course, they jump up to almost 2,000 gold lead here. They're still down in dragons. It's a 3 dragon for Ember. They have that threat of a 5th really early on in the game. We're talking 32 minutes. And TDK, they have to mount enough of a lead to deal with this. And I think Kez, although they did end up winning that fight, his ultimates, they need to be just slightly better. That's the only thing. They're really good right now, but I think that using it to just displace Santorin ends up with... You could have been able to just kill him flat out. Right here, if there had been focused on him, or...
Oh, the double bomb.
The double bomb stopped it.
Alex could have burst him.
Double bomb stopped it, but then that gives Santorin enough time to just delay. It gives enough time for Solo to soak up a little bit more. Of course, it's pretty clean, right? It's really clean all around. Oh, he didn't get to revive.
Yeah, no, they waited it out.
Red team's turret has
He
been
popped
destroyed.
it, they waited till it timed out and killed him right at the end of it. And then Santorin's just donezo, of course. The flash pillar, just to make sure it happened.
Yeah.
Trance bites him and is like, I don't want this.
Yeah. He was like, the Lamb was pretty much in a front flip, and then the Pillar of Ice came up right into her chest. She pretty much was Squall for a second there. Did you even get that reference?
Yes.
Awesome.
That's why I giggled. I knew what you were going for there. I was trying to think of a Squall-based pun, and I couldn't, so I giggled, was silent, and then went back to the game.
Oh. It's the
See, Santorin was trying to run away and got disqualified.
Oh, shoot.
A false start or something.
All right.
We're moving on because mid lane is getting attacked. Team Dragon Knights up a solid 1,500 gold here and getting some pressure on this turret. Ember are on 3 dragons. That does matter quite a bit. The move speed and the bonus stats make up for a lot of this gold deficit. But TDK, in addition to trying to siege as best they can, Trance blocks a lot of the culling. In fact, Law just stopped using it. He kind of walked up to the side and let it do nothing.
Nope.
And that means outer turret will be going down. So, first team to 3 turrets is TDK. Props to them.
Yep, 2,000 gold lead here for this squad. They didn't really change up too much in the draft phase. They ended up getting OQ, that Ezreal, and they ended up getting the Trundle,
3 new
as
champions.
well as the Gragas. I like the Gragas as a reaction. What I see here from TDK was they still first picked the Poppy, right? I'm expecting that pretty much every game. First pick Poppy, possibly Nautilus if they move over to that. But now they're playing a little more reactively, right? They're drafting a little more reactively. Right. The Gragas for the Kindred.
And I think they just need a tank anyway.
And then
That's not useful on Elise.
Yeah, and then the Trundle
For the Nautilus,
For the Nautilus.
was a big deal. It was a real big deal.
So I really liked those adaptations as reactions.
Yep. And Trance putting his early lead to good use. Ninja Tabby picked up, Spectre's Cowl grabbed as well, and looks like now the makings of a second Aegis or Mikhail's. There's not a lot that second Null Magic Mantle's going to do, and Locket's already done for Kez here. So I'm curious what that ends up being. Again, this team being basically a week old, they might just be both going Aegis, which is a small mistake.
It could be Banner.
Even that's bad. I would not go Banner on Trundle.
Yeah.
That seems terrible.
I would actually reverse it. I would have the Gragas go Banner if it was going to... If
you're going to do it at all.
If it was going to happen.
I would not double Aegis this team, though. That is a waste of gold.
I would love a Zerat Portal, though.
Actually, he could go Zerat Portal. That is what that would build into. It actually might be Transforming Zerat Portal, to be completely honest. That's actually the most likely situation we're in right now. Abyssal Scepter, the makings of, coming in now for Alex Zich. He did, in fact, go Roa into Morellonomicon. Late Abyssal was the choice there. Makes sense. Sunfire Cape in before too long for Flares. As we go in for our next armor item for Kez. And you can see, of course, 6.4, that nerf onto Swifties. We are seeing a lot more now Ninja Tabbies and you know, potential Mercury Treads here on teams. Still a lot of Lucidity boots, of course, but...
Well, I actually see a whole lot of different boots now.
Right.
I'm seeing Merc Treads, I'm seeing Lucidity, I'm seeing Swifties, I'm seeing the Ninja Tabi come back. I'm even seeing some people run mobility boots because they were buffed.
Right.
And then Swifties got worse relatively.
Neither of these supports would really want to do Moby boots, and honestly, this is not a Zerk Greaves or a Sork Shoes AD carry or mid laner, so those just kind of don't fit the champions. But yeah, I think Boots got in a lot better shape. Took a couple patches to get it all right, but I'm actually pretty happy with how Boots have turned out in the grand scheme of things.
I get to actually have an item that
I make choices about.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Can't swap them for free, though.
Ooh, OQ jumping over all the skill shots, puts the poke down, and just barely dodges the culling. It was just tickling his garments there.
He just goes back in immediately after. As soon as his E is off cooldown, he's like, come back here.
Yep. Well, he's got Gragas to disengage if things go really, really wrong. But yeah, OQ able to play quite aggressively. There's not that many engage tools against him.
So Ember just all backed because Dragon is up in 10 seconds, so they wanted to be able to purchase and make these buys so they're as powerful as they possibly can be leading into this fight. Solo, he looks like he just wants to pick on Alex.
He wants to fight him. I mean, Alex is just really, really valid and valuable in this competition. If he's not part of the fight, it's very good for Ember. Alex still putting a lot of damage down. Ulti popped, and it's going to be the solo kill for Solo. And that is huge because now they've got room for a 5v4. But look at that, Ember, R2 pushed into play for Dragon. TDK able to take that one down despite the kill. Flares and Kez just on that way too quickly. Getting mid pushed in was huge.
Yeah, they weren't able to actually wave clear it back out because you think about who the wave clear tools are. We're relying on that Zillion. The Lucian, maybe a little bit as well, but they had already started it up. TDK had the inside track. And also, I think that TDK, if they had actually just stopped splitting and they had gone for a team fight, they have some good power spikes coming through here. A lot of these guys are on 2 items, and then you had the Muramana power spike as well for OQ.
Quick wave through by Golden Glue, has a lot of ability power, and sadly does not one-shot the melee minions, and he misses 2. Misses the cannon as well. Oh, Golden Glue got like 4 CS that entire wave.
All right.
That's just harsh.
So I'm going to check out Santorin stacks. He's at 4, which gives him 5%. So his Devourer is effectively just giving him every 4th auto attack.
An extra auto attack.
5%.
Yeah. Which is basically, he has 1.25% more on hit damage than he did. Rough that up. All right.
Not a fan, but I mean, I think the build is going to work for him because he likes farming. So
yeah, and again, I think they do need it for this comp. You can argue the validity of the competition, and I won't take that away.
Magic damage and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do need him to be a carry-style Kindred, and it is a very annoying team composition. Ember running, infinite shields or multiple revives and trying to be an unkillable team composition. That said, they have died 7 times.
Tanks on Lod.
Come true. Lod is going to get ulted, going to get taken down quickly, and they will give that one away to Alex Zich. You saw Trance stop dealing damage to make sure the right person could get that kill. Trance 2-0-4 playing quite well now. Flare's now under fire. Stunned up a little bit, but guess what? You're still missing your AD carry, Ember, so teamfight's not going to be won by these guys.
Yep, Ember doesn't have Lod right now. He had Flash and Heal available, but he didn't really have any time to react. He just got locked up by Alex, and Alex just flashed in for him as well. Claws over the wall. Lod basically goes, oh, well, there was a ward in here the entire time, and he gets ultied, so no reaction time there. Cut it down. Sieging top and mid here, so TDK, they might be able to get an extra turret off this, and Flares goes in.
They can teleport Alex if they need to. Sun taking a lot of damage, knocked into the team, puts the fissure down, and gets a revive from the Zillion, but that is Zillion ult used on the support. Kez a little bit low, Flares down to half. Lucian is back alive, and they can re-engage. Top inhibitor turret is dead. They still are not using Alex Ich, so why is FLICKR going in? He dies for no real good reason, and TDK are overexposed. They didn't have Alex. Wad was back alive. TDK 4v5 lose 2.
And Alex got that top turret, and you just led Ember straight to this Baron. They have Kindred. They definitely want to do damage here, but Alex is on the wings. What can he do?
He can ult somebody. Stun's already low on health, down to 500. Teleport coming in, and here comes Alex Ich. Puts the root down, puts the self-ulti. Huge knockouts from Ember are bleeding health bars. Alex is taking down Stunt, and the team is running away for dear life. TDK on the re-engage, doing well. Solo goes back in, but why did they turn in? Alex is going to get these guys killed easily, I assume, but no! Somehow Solo lives. The bombs push him away, and I can't believe they lived, but yeah, Ember squeaked away with only Stunt going down.
OQ out of mana there. He still has flash and heal, but he actually didn't go super hard. He didn't try to have an OQ moment. He didn't try to go really hard and actually pick up Solo there. But they did stop the Baron, and they had basically Kez shot calling for a second. Just calm down. Right?
Yep.
We stopped it. That was our goal.
Good.
Let's not overreach.
And hey, they reached enough already. Alex has knocked down the top lane inhibitor turret there. That means it's 5 turrets now for TDK. A 5,000 gold lead for them as well. Pretty solid stuff. The Lissandra split push was able to auto-attack down a turret with no contest. TP now used for the top lane because guess what? Flares is here and he likes Lod. Lod running away with the culling. Jumps away. Yeah, he's going to stay alive on that one.
But now everybody on the side of TDK run up the top lane, try to siege down this inhibitor, but they make a play for the Baron. They're going to try to get the TP out of Solo.
I'm going to see if they can push any more for this one. Kez walking right into this. Baron should be in a pretty easy spot for these guys to deal with here as they're taking a whole lot of damage. Ember on the wings. They do have 5 alive, but Lada's far away. OQ doing a bit of poke, but yes, they are losing health bars here. Bombs come out, don't do a whole lot. Stunt, yeah, nice poke in. Alex is not engaged just yet. Kez will take a double bomb stun, running away. Delivering the bomb to his team. Ember do not yet take down the mid lane. They're going to now send Law to do that here. So mid lane tier 2 could easily be under fire. TDK ping that, say, guys, we have to defend that turret. They can take that down too easily and start running down. FLICKR's still stuck on the top side of this jungle, though.
FLICKR's running, now backing. Not even going to try to push up that wave. So good right there. Oh, stun.
Really trapped behind Pillar of Ice. Jumps over to Golden Blue. Good play by both them to make that happen. Anchor comes in, hits up transfer, a little bit of damage. Ulti comes back, knocks them all around, but no damage really sticks from the double ulti usage of TDK. Ember able to run, bombs come down, and they're hightailing it out of here.
And that was a nice unbreakable there from Stunt. It actually stopped Kez from knocking Stunt into the team, possibly Santorin, and possibly cleaning up at that point. So that unbreakable did save the situation there from the Gragas barrel.
No, definitely good stuff by Stunt. However, it's just a trade of cooldowns. No kills picked up. The waves traded back and forth as well. Mid lane is back to equal. Top's pushing towards Embers. Bot's pushing towards TDK, I believe.
Yeah.
Top might have been actually reset based on the way the wave's looking right now. So maybe actually both side lanes pushing towards TDK. We already have flares running to the bot lane. He's going to clean that one up. OQ, safe and easy red buff grab.
Alacrity.
I'm seeing a lot of that actually. There's a lot of times, I talked sneaky about this. A lot of times in the mid game, you just recall and you have 500 like loose gold chilling. And it's like you can either buy like a red elixir or you can just buy alacrity boots. And it's just like a way to spend your money in the mid game when you're out of slots. And you're like, well, I want power though. And you just pick up alacrity.
I do like it on Blue Ezreal because he doesn't get any Zeal items, so he doesn't have anything that's getting him movement speed.
You help give him the speed up there.
Yeah, because you're running around at like 380 still.
Well, mid lane cleared first by Ember. However, we just saw FLICKR steal away the blue buff. So some nice plays by the blue team here. Once again, Dragon is up on the field. This would be Ember's 4th. If they hadn't dropped the last one, it would have been their 5th, but it was a great take by TDK, who are sitting on 1 Dragon themselves. 6,000 health on this objective. This would be, again, number 4 for Ember. That is a big deal.
FLICKR's not there.
Neither was Alex Ich. They don't have the people to do it. Kez will look for a steal. Ults him back, goes for the burst, won't do enough, and it is smited by Santorin. That is Dragon number 4. The re-engage comes in, double bomb onto Trance, stuns him up and buys a lot of time. FLICKR's just now rejoins the team. They run away from the pillar, but the knockout comes through, and oh, Lot is gone. Solo's gonna be next, and Ember have to run for dear life. A knockup on a Golden Glue. He will surely fall. Revive or not, he is going to die. This will be a 3-for-0 with the TDK, punishing the Dragon attempt, and they've got map control.
Immediately, pings come down onto the Baron. TDK are going to try to make a power play and get themselves a gigantic lead and possibly get that top lane inhibitor afterwards. Back with the Baron after you get it. We'll see what happens here. Santorin, he does have Smite and Flash available. It's going to be so hard to get in, though, because Poppy can just zone you with so much peel.
And Flair's going to do that. The call is already there. Flair's, you are playing the peeler. We're going to finish Baron no matter what. Just keep Kindred out of the pit. Santorin does have Flash, so maybe, just maybe he gets in, but there is no vision in there. He might not even try for the steal. Looks like he will not. Flair's playing up, making sure nothing goes wrong. No contest here. This will be Baron for TDK, a 7,000 gold lead, and all the makings of tying the series up 1-1.
A lot of this is actually Kez as well. Throws down the ulti, spreads them out, but then that still made Solo run in at a bad angle. Then they have to back up. You can see the chunk here. Stunt is already half HP. Solo's already half HP.
Really
and
haphazardly.
then Alex jumps in, and then the disengage.
Alex was huge there.
Yep.
The team did not have a unified call of which way do we leave.
Yep.
Some went top side, and the trans pillared them. Some were bottom side, and Alex was like, we're killing these guys. Very, very good calculation by TDK. That was super solid. Mistake by Ember, perfectly punished by TDK.
Yeah, good skirmishes there from the squad, and this is definitely a superior skirmish composition at the moment.
Yeah.
You want a 5v5 with this Ember comp. Most of the time. I do think it does have a good skirmish as well.
Yeah.
But I do think that the TDK one is slightly better, just because of the lockup that they have.
So Ember missing out a fair bit of DPS. I'm hoping for their sake that Laud is getting Infinity Edge with that item build and not trying to get a Bloodthirster here for himself. He definitely needs to cut through the front line somehow, but just does not have the damage. With Shiv, it'll be a little bit better, but they are not able to break through the gigantic triple frontliners of TDK. As they push down mid lane tier 2 with the Baron buff, they've got Flair splitting on the bot side as well. He's not going to be easy to stop either.
Wow. Mortal Reminder for OQ. Very early on, too. Doesn't go for the Lord Dominic's regards. Trying to stop the healing of Kindred.
Kindred has some, yeah, and also keep in mind, lifesteal. There's a lot of lifesteal on this team. Laud has Warlord's Bloodlust. That's actually a pretty big deal. You've got, I mean, like, honestly, Mortal Reminder's debuff lasts like 5 seconds.
It is, yeah.
Which is longer than AD carries expect to miss out on their half healing. Or to have only half their healing.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually way better than you think at killing AD carries, because they can no longer lifesteal tank you.
Yeah. And even after you die, you can still have that
Oh,
debuff
it's just
on them.
there for 5 seconds, and you just like die to a minion wave that you thought you'd tank, and it's just kind of funny sometimes.
Everything you know about life stealing to save yourself
Goes out the window, and no one thinks about it. Mid lane under fire, though. TDK kiting away from the skill shots as best they possibly can.
Little surprised that they're not sieging top turret, because it's the one that doesn't have a turret.
Yeah, I think, okay, they're pinging on the way, so Alex will be shoving top lane in. I agree, the inhibitor. It's interesting because if you think you're far enough ahead that you're getting the inhibitor regardless, you use Baron to knock another turret down.
Yeah.
But if you get neither of them, then you definitely overstepped your bounds and overestimated what you thought you could do. Wave clear attempted by Golden Glue. Alex is trying to kite the bomb away from the minions, and they do go to the top side with the last tail of the Baron buff. Laud still battling OQ, dealing a bit of damage. You can see that debuff on him. He won't lifesteal quite as much as he was before. Double bomb comes through, and, well, TDK bit off more than they could chew. Baron times out. They did not knock the inhibitor down after all.
They did
Mistaken resources.
Did get damage on the mid turret. It's below half, and
Yeah.
they did get damage on that bottom turret as well. So they're both below half.
But you'd rather kill one of those than get both the half.
Oh yeah, they definitely they also regen HP
Of course. Slowly, but it definitely happens.
very, very slowly.
So 9,000 gold lead. Dragon 5 is in 1.5 minutes by Ember. Santorin has not missed a smite battle all series so far against Kez. And yeah, 9,000 gold deficit sucks, but Dragon 5 is a lot of stats and a lot of buffs to deal with here. This is going to be crucially important in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
And we'll see what the setup is for this fight. Looking at cooldowns really quickly. Everybody on TDK has flash, and every summoner spell is up right now. Every single one of them. So they're just preparing for this fight. And I want to see what Flares does with the setup. Ooh, handoff to OQ across the map.
Max CDR now on the Ezreal.
Yep.
Ruin King, Mortal Reminder. I think actually, by the way, very smart that he's going Ruin King third. So many Ezreals by Bloodthirst or something stupid. Ruin King, gives you actual DPS. It is, I think, a mandatory item in an Ezreal build. I talk about items a lot and the role a lot, but Ruin King is heavily underrated. Yeah, okay, it got nerfed in 5.24 or whatever. It is still incredibly strong. Ruin King is very good. Ezreal, since he's not building crit, should be getting damage items like this. And OQ can actually cut through the front line pretty well with that plus Mortal Reminder.
All right, and I want to see what Flares does in this top lane to set up, because you're talking about cutting through things. Well, there's a Zerat portal. It's going to start cutting through this inhibitor.
That's going to be difficult to deal with, and top lane could be in a really bad spot. I actually wonder, I think Mortal Reminder might actually work with Zillion Ultimate as well. I don't know for sure, but it might.
It says they respawn with 1,000 plus whatever HP.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
But it could easily be a heal.
Yes, it's probably coded that way.
Almost definitely is. Solo in trance. Yeah, I don't know if Solo can really knock this thing down. He's kind of 1 versus 7 at this point as Zerat minions keep coming in there.
Look at that damage.
Yeah, it's chunking that thing pretty easily. Flares is ahead, and that inhibitor is losing health. Slowly but surely. There's the dragon, the 6th of the game, and there is no contest here. TDK wrestled control of the map. Mid lane pushed in, bot lane pushed in, top lane pushed in. No chance. And look at that. Flares kites back. His team is busy doing dragon. Get out of danger. Be safe. Come back in when the team's back on the map. No big deal. A lot of this is really intelligent and smart coordination by TDK.
Double bomb.
Identifying the double bomb. Oh! Get it in time! And he will not stop the TP away. As Flares just gets out of dodge. Rejoins his team elsewhere.
Were those just slow fingers, or did he not have rewind up for a couple seconds?
Might not have been up at the time.
Oh, well.
Totally respawning in the mid side.
No Alex.
Nice hook on the Kez. Bit of damage coming through. Santorin is around to do some damage. But unfortunately, critless marksmen don't do that much damage to tanks. Kez healed up by the Mikhail's Crucible actually was the item purchased by Trundle after all.
Flares are coming around for a flank here.
He only hits Alex Ich, buys a little bit of time, and yeah, there's Flares on the backside. Very tanky on this Poppy. Anchor will not catch her. Vlad can only do so much. This top, mid lane inhibitor is going to take a lot of damage. The team kites back. TDK blows some cooldowns.
Raptor Cloak is a thing, so good luck catching Poppy.
Real fast.
That's one of the biggest things of Zerat Portal. Everybody talks about the little minion and how annoying it is, but seriously,
20% move speed when near a turret or turret rebel.
It's big.
Yeah.
You're paying for, what is it, 150% base health regen? I think is what's on it. Yeah, 125%. And it's 120 resistances, 60 of each.
Yeah.
And then you get movement speed next to turrets, dead or alive.
But you tend to be around a lot.
As a jungler, I love this item as well because you just gank and you're sped up, and it's also an increase as well. So people are already judging how fast you're moving, and then you just chase them down. And it also forces people to kind of run away, and their path when they run away has to be through the jungle.
Almost always is, yeah.
They can't go through the lane at that point.
Because they go to a turret, catch them real fast. All right, last few items coming through will be Scimitar, of course, for OQ. Eye Edge does come through here for Lod, so he does not have any armor pen. That's going to be tough for him. He's going to need Lord Dominic's like yesterday, to be honest. He's going to have some nice lightning crits. His wave clear is great. Lod can crit minions for like 700 damage with lightning. You can one-shot cast with that item, and he will do so 70% of the time. You see this right here? Bam! 524. Okay, I was close. It's 524. But yeah, that's still one-shots caster minions. Lod has wave clear for days. But Ember are slowly losing parts of the map. TDK are catching dragons. Baron's back up on the map as well. They are now missing inhibitor turrets in top and mid lane. And Ember, I don't think, have the damage to really cut through this game anymore. Santorin with the semi-tanky build, right? Malva, Mortius, and Sterix Gage. Okay, yeah, he's going towards Lord Dominic's now, but that's going to come in too late. The tank's already too big, and he just does not have the damage output to really take this game over anymore. Alex Ich heading away from the Culling, which, of course, does not quite catch him.
There's the Zerat portal. Found out, discovered. Of course, Zerat portal being built for stunt, and I think the last item for Flares is going to be a banner command. This is pretty much the core Poppy build when you're done with the game.
Yeah.
6-item build for Poppy is be as annoying as possible. And Baron gets started up again. And Ember.
TDK don't take damage doing this. Flares just catches his shield and ignores the fact that Baron theoretically has damage at all. OQ wearing it down with the Ruin King. And do they want to risk a smite fight with Ember? Can they disengage them properly? Trance in the front line. Stunt takes a bit of poke. And now Solo's in the mix as well. They need to have this battle work somehow, as they've been bleeding gold for a while. No engage just yet from Alex. Zillion forced to kite around the long way.
And this walkout again is kind of sloppy from Ember. They're divided. If one of them gets barreled back, it would be disaster.
The backline has to stay durable. Flares doesn't get the tackle to go the right way he wanted it to. Flashes and knocks the guys back afterwards. Big knockup comes out from Stunt. Flares still on the front line. Healed up for 500 from Mikhail's Crucible. Solo still staying alive as well. Trance hits it back with a Pillar of Ice, disengages.
Yep, Flare's way too far forward again, and then the barrel actually helps because Stunt puts his Unbreakable up at the right time, so knocks him backwards, and then Flare's almost goes down there. So interesting series of events.
Yeah.
Of course, TDK, you have a 10,000 gold lead, and you have 2 naked inhibitors on the enemy team. And forcing the Baron seems to be the play that they want to keep doing, and you're just, when you don't make any progress, you're just giving Ember another chance at a 5th Dragon.
Yeah. And that's going to be up in 120. Doubles Route Portal has been picked up, by the way, from Ember. Top laner Solo has one, as does the support player Stunt.
Now they don't have to worry about their side waves at all. They can continue to go towards where TDK are if they're going towards the Dragon, if they're going towards the Baron. You chase them around the map, no problem.
And here we go. The attempt is in for Barons. Rot Minions are pushing in the top side right now in favor of Ember. It's pushing towards Flares, who has to clear the wave out and is doing so right now in the top lane.
Where's his banner? Where'd that minion go?
I didn't see where it got placed, but there's plenty of physical damage from the Ember squad to probably kill that minion anyway. OQ.
Bottom. It's in bottom. So he put it in the place.
Okay.
Still has a turret.
The 2 side lanes getting pushed. I mean, that's where you want them, though.
Yeah.
Mid lane is so easily cleared and so easily accessed.
Yep.
The side lanes are ones that you want to push with the smart created minions, or the buffed minions in one of the cases. Laud still scaling up, does now have Last Whisper. You can see that one of the advantages of Warlord's Bloodlust is that even though you don't have the fervor damage, you don't have to buy a lifesteal item to be useful in team fights. And so he gets to shortcut that, get the greedier build of Edge 3rd, and then a Last Whisper into Lord Dominic's 4th. End result is more damage. Here comes the engage by Kez. The teleports are in, and who's going to get knocked down first? Solo stuck in the front lines, whittled down by the trundle and everything else. Oki forced to Arcane Shift away, dodges the bomb. Stunt is running. Solo had to flash get away, rooted up. They're going to need to revive him pretty soon. Ult in by Santorin. The knockback comes through. Solo is going to be revived, but it times out too soon, and he goes down. Here's the re-engage. Ember forced to run. It's a double kill for OQ. Flares is in. They've got a 3rd. They're going to kill everyone. Santorin tries, but no, it's a quadra kill, and there's 1 person left, and that's support Braum played by Stunt. That's not enough to keep the base alive. That's going to be game 2 going to TDK.
And TDK even up the series here 1-1. They change a little bit in the pick ban phase. They didn't pivot for the Nautilus. Instead, they're able to focus him down in that fight, and they're able to take this game, but they have to do a little bit of house cleaning. They don't have minions just yet.
They don't have them, so the bot lane inhibitor's going to be going down. They've got a wave right there. 35 seconds of the respawns shouldn't even be a problem. What are you even going to do when you're Stunt here in this one? So bot lane, tier 1, Nexus turret 1 going down. Stunt will drop down, and it's an delayed pentakill. I'm going to give it to him. All 5 kills to OQ. Unofficial penta to close the game out and to take game 2 of the series. 1-1 in the best of 5.
OQ looks fantastic when he's playing Ezreal. Every time I see him play that champion, it makes me want to go queue up and play it. I'm looking at his scores so far. Man, he's just been able to just wreck on that champion. 5-1-6, 3-1-2, 2-0-8. It's strange because he's usually the guy that you think when he plays Ezreal, he's arcane shifting out and just staying safe. He's actually arcane shifting forward.
Yeah,
he's just looking for those opportunities.
Plenty of times, yeah.
And in that last fight, you saw him actually arcane shift and I believe flash forward to continue that chain because he saw the opportunity to capitalize, saw the opportunity to close the game out. And a lot of this was TDK. They got a very early start, and then these dragons that they were able to fight at a bit, and then not have the 5th dragon go over to Ember was really the tipping point.
Yeah, they found a lot of picks in a row right in the mid game there. That was a huge deal because Ember had started the game 3-0 with dragon control. Big deal for them. And then we saw 3 individual picks in a row from TDK to get them back in the game, and then a big team fight win at dragon. And that was when the game really started taking off for these guys. OQ went unkilled the entire game. So did Kez, by the way. 1-0-13 on that Gragas. Huge deal for him. Got out that Elise, just played a hard tank, and it worked beautifully. So it just came together for TDK this game.
Yeah, they did a really good job in adapting and actually being like, okay, you picked the Kindred, well, we'll just pick Gragas, right? And then also the Trundle. Like, the Trundle was hiding underneath the radar that whole game.
Yeah.
So what the Trance was able to contribute to this game was he's able to just shred through and make Solo actually killable. You saw him be focused down. And even though the Trundle is shredding his resistances, it's still taking a very long time to kill him. But if they didn't have the Trundle, then, yeah, you'd almost never be able to get through Solo. But the big thing here for TDK that I want to talk about is I don't know if they'll get Gragas again.
Yeah, we'll see. The bans haven't really changed very much, and now is kind of the point where, TDK could have chalked up game 1 to, okay, we can fix parts of the comp, and then we can just take it down and just play better.
Yeah.
Ember, this comp is not going to work against that comp. Like, when Trundle absorbs your tank that well, and Lucian just doesn't have a sturdy enough front line to DPS because of how much threat the Poppy and the Sun are putting in, you can't play utility mid anymore. That Zilean, honestly, I'm surprised they didn't just go for Karma again, because Karma does way more damage more consistently. But I don't think Ember can run this comp again faithfully. I don't think it'll work. Yeah. I think you have to run it with sort of different situations, in my mind. And I'd have to go and relook at a lot of these fights to see what exactly went wrong, because some of those losses were to being miscoordinated, right? Huge breakups where Pillar hits one side, engaged in the other half. But Alex just keeps playing Lissandra and keeps punishing mispositions. And Laud 1, 4, and 2, worst score on the team.
Yeah, Laud getting caught out a lot there. But of course, they were getting picked on, and I think that the thing that stood out to me for Ember was when the 5th dragon was coming up, they didn't seem ready.
They couldn't. I don't think any of these, so dragon number 4.
Dragon number 5.
The 4th dragon that was picked up was the only one they misplayed and not getting. Because when the attempt for Dragon 5 came in, they were down 9k and all waves were pushed in. You can't get out of your base at that point.
Was that what happened? I believe
the very last one.
Was that 5?
When they had a chance for 5, they had no chance of getting it.
Oh.
When they had a chance for 4, and you said, oh, they recall with 10 seconds to go, that's too late already, right? They recall with 10 seconds till Dragon respawns.
Yeah.
That thing's dead. And that was a misstep for sure. They lapsed, the roughly 1 minute before Dragon comes up, you have to get your waves covered, you have to recall, then you clear the waves again, then you collapse in. If you recall and the timer's already ticking down, it's already too late for you.
The one where Solo killed Alex and didn't get the dragon, that's the one that...
Oh, yeah.
That's the one that really blew my mind.
Yes, I agree. It was really weird. And that was them recalling too late. And I agree with you, that was really weird because, he straight solo killed the other top laner, or the mid laner, actually.
When you are in that position and you have dragon control, you need to make the enemy go to dragon. And then you have to get something for it. Or you go to dragon first and know that they have to come meet you, because they can't go push down mid and be like, oh, we'll just trade you dragon 5 for a turret. It's like, that's not how dragon 5 works.
But of course, of course. Yeah, I think the big thing, and this is a lesson you can kind of teach just players who are playing League in any coordinated situation, if you are playing for dragon, right, if it's an important win condition in the game, recall at T-minus roughly 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Give it 2 minutes. Recall, buy your items, clear the waves, and then collapse back in for dragon. If you're recalling at T-minus 30, it's too late. The other team can push the waves in and turn right onto it. They can get ward control and just choke you out and pick you off if you come in for it. 30 seconds is not enough time. 1.5, 2 minutes is the right amount of time for that one. Much too late by Ember. Misplay was unfortunate by them, but that's kind of what allowed the mid game to come back into control for TDK.
Yep. And TDK, this was a team that was struggling all throughout Challenger to even pick up 2-0s. They had 1 2-0, and then they had 3 ties.
Yeah.
So they just kept splitting, and of course now we have a tie again.
It's best of 5. They will not have a tie at the end of this.
That's true. That's true. The inconsistency, though, for TDK still seems to be a big point. I want to see how this series progresses for them, though. The fact that they lost Seraph in the top lane doesn't seem to hurt them too much. They're able to put Alex on an engaged champion. They're able to put him on a flank champion. They seem to be used to this with Kez.
Right.
And the vision control style is working out for them in that game.
Yeah, they're playing really pick focused. Alex is being a playmaker, and that's huge.
Yeah.
He's not going on every single claw. He's going in on smart claws. I would say Alex is playing very well and very dynamically, right? He's making tough choices and they're coming out correct. OQ's just being consistent. That's great. Kez on tanks is super solid as well. Everyone else is pulling their weight, which is fine. As long as you have that dynamic mid laner and a really strong AD carry, that's enough for TDK here. So Ember to fix some issues. TDK, keep playing this strong. They're looking good.
Yeah, the only things that I think will change possibly are maybe Nautilus first pick, maybe the Gragas over...
I think you drop Lissandra
over
away.
The Kindred.
I think you make Alex or something else as well. I think it's a huge deal.
Okay.
I think I personally would ban Lissandra in Game 3 as Ember. That would be the one change I would put above all others in Champ Select. I agree that Gragas is very good. Thing is, you can take that, though. They're first picking Poppy. You can take that instead of Kindred. There's other choices. But Lissandra, I think, in my opinion, needs to go. I agree, Gragas is a big deal. We'll see what those choices end up being because we're going to get ready for Game 3. So, guys, keep it tuned. We've got ourselves, of course, a very good series. At least 2 more games to go, and we'll be back in a few minutes with TDK versus Ember as they look to make their way into the LCS promotion tournament. Don't go anywhere. Ooh, big knockup on a Santorin. Does have the ulti. When will he pop it? He's going to pop it just in time to stay alive, but of course the re-engage could happen. A knockback by Poppy. A lot of help coming through. Zillion ulti on him as well. The tackle in from FLICKR. Looking for the backlight. Nearly picks off Lod. Barely stays alive, but that's 2 kills for TDK. Lucian is back alive and they can re-engage. Top inhibitor turret is dead. They still are not using Alex Inch, so why is FLICKR going in? He dies for no real good reason, and TDK are overexposed. FLICKR just now rejoins the team. They run away from the pillar, but the knockout comes through. And oh, Lot is gone. Solo's going to be next. And Ember have to run for dear life. Here's the re-engage. Ember forced to run. It's a double kill for OQ. Flares is in. They've got a third. They're going to kill everyone. Santorin tries, but no, it's a quadra kill.